We wanted to welcome you to the Board of Trustees public session agenda. Today is June 10th. The time is 6:03 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order. So, per our usual meetings, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we now move into the public comment, but wanted to welcome everybody here tonight and just say that it's good to be back in-person meetings. It's been a long stretch. It's been a tough one, but it's nice to be able to do this in person and work with colleagues and residents and stakeholders. So we'll begin our public comment. Please keep in mind that public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. We usually have a sign-in sheet.
It's right here, maybe.
Okay. Charlene, if there's anyone on the sign-in sheet,
There are three people. Would you like me to read this?
Sure, thank you.
Okay. Would Tiffany LeBold come up, please? Here.
Yes.
You can take it. I believe you can take it off. You're socially distanced.
Good evening. My name is Tiffany LeBold. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of myself as a member of the PBA and this community. On May 25th, members of our union made ourselves available to the public to answer any questions. You see, the public also realized that this is the first time they have ever seen the union get involved in a public information campaign. Our Save the Police signs are not political. As we have all read in the papers and on many of the campaign flyers, our police department, administration, and officers are being spoken about very negatively and with many untruths and blatant lies. The task force report specifically was utilized in the most inappropriate manner. The public was under the impression that the taxpayer-funded review by the Hartnett Group of the police department was going to be delivered to the trustees and the public in the most true form as an honest, unbiased review of the department. The public did not get that. Instead, we had five persons with no police experience and few ties to the village as the go-between for the author of the review and our elected officials. This task force brief has since been proven to have been misleading and slanted. Also, there were some inaccuracies in the Hartnett report. Had our chief been interviewed, he could have given documentation and statistics to clear them up. I asked why. Why was the village spending taxpayer money just to have a false narrative fed to the other trustees and the public, and why was our accreditation never mentioned? Why doesn't the public know about the process we complete every 5 years with a thorough review of the New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services since 1993? How can we maintain that accreditation if we are such a mismanaged and unsupervised department? A headline read, Southampton Village Police has excess expenses and few controls. Let me remind the public, our budget and oversight starts with Village Hall. Our mayor is our police commissioner. Village Hall adopts and approves our budget for the department, along with all the line items specified. On May 25th, the mayor actually revealed to us that the police department had gone under many line items, actually saving the village money. He mentioned now with this zero-based budgeting software, he can allocate unused police budget money and transfer it to the capital fund. So, Mr. Mayor, how if the department has actually gone under line items, do we have excessive expenses and few controls? The mayor has blamed the department and dispatch center for egregious overtime. I remind everyone that most, if not all, of the police overtime in 2020 came from Village Hall approved protest rallies and dining in the streets. All of the events that required most, if not all, of the department to be at work to maintain safety, to allow these events to happen peacefully. The mayor touted that the reports showed a lack of diversity. Our police department is made of 31 officers and the chief. We have 5 females, 2 who hold rank, 3 members of color. We have 2 that represent the LGBT community. We have a code enforcement Hispanic officer. Approximately 14 of our officers were born and raised in this community. We have employed part-time officers from the Shinnecock Reservation and the Hispanic community. And again, Village Hall does the hiring. I will let dispatch explain why it took so long to get proper staffing for them, but when the mayor explained to us on May 25th that only white men were on the list, we were appalled. There is a civil service process, but regardless, to discriminate on gender and race is something I would call for resignation. I am not here today to promote anyone's political agenda. I'm here to ask that you stop using the police department, our chief, and our members as a scapegoat of blame to promote your personal political agenda. This village has never seen this type of vitriol before, and quite frankly, it's sad. We have a wonderful village and community. We are made up of hardworking, family-oriented, and environmentally conscious people. I will finish with this. Our department and our PBA have and will continue to be dedicated to this community. We will continue to build our relationships. We will continue to reflect on ways to improve and be better, and we will do this regardless of who is mayor, because that is what we do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Tabitha Fajardo. Fajardo.
Hello, my name is Tabitha Fajardo. As Ms. Leibold, said in her public comments, I also have a few questions that I would like to follow up. I am not a member of the PBA. I am simply a concerned resident. And I pose these questions specifically to Mayor Warren. So why is it that we are trying to dissolve the village police department and more so cut members of dispatch when we have great response times, not only great response times, but also to the point where we have other agencies trying to use our dispatchers? Isn't that posing more harm for people? Then will you apologize for stealing the village election documents or accessing village election documents prior without proper authorization? Thank you.
Thank you. Typically in the public comment, it's an opportunity for the public to comment, but it's always a good opportunity to put this out there. First, no one is interested or trying to dissolve the police or defund the police. We all support our police, and we wanted to thank everybody for their service to the community. We have excellent feedback, and also wanted to thank our dispatchers. And in fact, we actually should thank our dispatchers even further, because our dispatchers actually are some of the most underappreciated employees we have in the village. They work long hours. Most people don't even know what dispatchers are. And in fact, they're put under a lot of stress. Their families are put under a lot of stress because they have to do so many things at once. Answer phone calls and then dispatch. And it's actually one of the units that people, like I said, know least about. So all I would say is that, again, this board, which all oversees the department, no one is trying to dissolve the police. We actually really appreciate the service to our community, and in particular, we really respect our dispatchers. They're actually one of the most important parts of our community. So I just wanted to put that out there, and again, thank everybody for their service. And there's always a lot of misinformation out there, and there's never a good enough time to clarify it. It's tough to be a dispatcher. It's tough to be a police officer. It's not as tough to be an elected official, but you're often subject to misinformation. And so ultimately, all I can say is thank you to everybody here, and especially thank you to our dispatchers for their hard work that is really underappreciated. And that's all I'd like to say. So thank you for the comments.
I understand that public comments aren't meant to be questions, but I do think, considering the current environment, it is very important, as someone who's trying to gain knowledge about the situation. And not only that, but I also believe that the Harnett report and the interpretation of the Harnett report, with viewing the past Zoom links, and if people go ahead and revise that, we would be able to see that perhaps some of the things that were said did in some ways alienate the police department, where Southampton Village is very much an affluent area. It is very much not only that, but we have a school district right, near the village where we need our police resources. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tabitha, thank you. Charlene, is there a third?
There's a third speaker, Dan Farrell.
First, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Normally, I'm behind the phone, so you don't see me, hear from me. I like that. It's nice. So, first, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Mayor, for acknowledging that the task force report was referred to the dispatch center. To take that time and talk with us, we appreciate it. I genuinely do. But I have to admit that I was a bit disheartened by the report, and at the time, we all thought that was a report. So basically, it went from being essential to not operationally justified or economically justified, right? So that hurt. But I was relieved to know that that wasn't the report. In the interim, before the Harnett was able to address the report itself, we had multiple members break down because they thought they were going to lose their jobs, and it was a little disheartening. And I have to make that abundantly clear. But when report came out, it basically justified our existence. It was very nice to hear. 'Cause I feel that, you know, everybody has to look within, and we all can work on some things, for sure, 100%. So we have a vision, and we can progress towards that. But it's clear that the public doesn't know what we do, so that's why I'm here. We are the 911, 411, and the 311. And the C-click fix. I'll tell you once we get there. We dispatch the police department, village ambulance, Southampton Fire Department in the village, but also outside the village as well. North Sea Fire Department, and we handle Bridgehampton Fire Department and ambulance. We deliver emergency medical dispatch instructions to the public in case there's a medical emergency, all while simultaneously dispatching appropriate help. Our call volume year over year is up 10 to 20% across the board, with the exception of the village ambulance, which is a good thing. We don't want people to work. But after COVID, realistically, we're the busiest we've ever been. We are a talented group. The majority of us are college educated. And with that, we bring the ability to think critically and under pressure. We enjoy serving the public, and we are honored to do so. With the chief's permission, I would encourage any trustee or board member to come visit our facility, take a tour, meet our members. I think you'd be surprised who's behind the phone. And realistically, the only thing that we would like to hear from the board, if it comes up or if you can make a comment on it, is that we will continue to be a part of this village and serve the village and the residents. But again, that's it from us. So thank you for your time, I appreciate it. And we look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
People watching live stream said the audio is not coming.
I'm sorry. I was just talking to Karen about it. I think that's the call as well. We're trying to get the phone
Will it be recorded?
The
for
volume is low?
Posting?
People are just saying that they can't hear.
They can't hear any of
the
the
volume. Like it's picking up like a random mic or something.
Kat, do you know anything about that?
All right, is there anyone that is on the Zoom that isn't muted?
There's nobody on the Zoom.
Okay.
I get feedback from people watching.
So it's
Yeah,
YouTube. It's
The
YouTube.
YouTube live feed has no sound.
No sound.
coming through.
I got sound. I don't know what people are talking about.
Well, I didn't have it when also Lubo was speaking.
The last few speaking.
Do you want to speak?
I would speak again as long as. I'll speak.
Speak again?
Yeah, I mean, how does the board feel if her,
Well, can you hear it?
We're on a delay. You just heard everything we said, so I don't know what to tell you. It's on YouTube.
Yeah, there's a dozen people watching the YouTube live feed that said during, I think, the first two comments, they had nothing. So they said, mention it here now.
so the proper thing to do if that's the case, we can't go back and find out if that's been recorded yet, correct?
I can go back right now.
Can you go back?
It's on demand. You just slide it backwards and check it out.
Did you?
Two quick things. Number one, if anyone would like to say their public comment again, we would welcome you to do so. And then number two, I just want to give Kat a lot of credit. It's a tough job, and it's first meeting back.
We just
So
have people that were wanting to hear and said they couldn't, so we just wanted to make sure it's addressed.
I can find them.
I'm usually better on the second run anyway.
I think we got.
That's not necessarily what you want to hear.
Can anybody go back?
I'm not on.
Well, I think the best thing to do is just go up, and because we're going to be spending time, so
Yeah.
if everybody's agreeable, just get it, because it's going to take X amount of minutes to get it up. And
I'm not sure if it's working out.
She was saying she could hear her, but she was on, so.
Hear you, like from because it's the computer that's doing the sound.
Okay, so if you go up to the podium, can you just speak up? It is a long way for it to travel right now. The podium was moved, it was plugged in over there and piped into the speaker system. I don't know what's going on with it since it's moved, sorry.
Well, was
take
it,
your mask off and just.
where was the hookup for the,
Right there.
and why?
She's saying, okay.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
All right, I changed something.
No, that's not on.
So that's not on, so therefore it's not working, so no one can hear that.
Let me just try that. I guess a couple of people moved the podium.
Can you move my microphone?
Yeah, she could. Just do that. Let's see what happens.
Dan, did you just step out?
I think more importantly, Tiffany or Blue Bolt, you're going to have to be speaking over there. Yeah, I think so.
I actually think Dan might be in luck, but Officer Lubold, I think you may have to speak again. And I think we've got Dan actually.
Just see if it works. Oh, sorry.
Hold on, she's going to turn it up.
I throw my back out. I'm going on disability.
Jack, can you hear me?
This is out of title work.
Can you hear me? Testing.
By all means, it should be working.
Can you hear now? Try it again.
Hang on a second, let me just make sure.
Are you able to hear?
Put it back over.
Everything is up. I mean, if they can't see you, every time kind of get your ears blessed.
You're not going to hear it from there because
You
it's
won't
going
hear it?
directly.
Okay.
It's going direct. I think it's going directly in.
Can you hear now?
Oh, I continuously can hear everything.
Put the computer up, maybe, and then it goes, the sound goes by the Zoom, so that helps.
What you can hear, they say is Miss Violet.
Is who?
Okay.
Is Kat.
It's up all the way.
Okay.
This is what's streaming.
So should we physically move it up, do you think, and put it on a, or it has to go to, no worries, just,
No, you can move it up as far as you can,
Project
as far
it
as
best
the
I
cords will
can.
take it.
okay.
I think that's it. Yep, that's about it.
Okay. I'll project.
Pretend you're at school.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Tiffany Lubold. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of myself as a member of the PBA and this community. On May 25th, members of our union made ourselves available to the public to answer any questions. You see, the public also realized that this is the first time that they have ever seen the union get involved in a public information campaign. Our Save the Police signs are not political. As we have all read in the papers and on many campaign flyers, our police department, administration, and officers are being spoken about very negatively and with many untruths and blatant lies. The task force report specifically was utilized in the most inappropriate manner. The public was under the impression that the taxpayer-funded review by the Hartnett Group of the police department was going to be delivered to the trustees and the public in its most true form as an honest, unbiased review of the department. The public did not get that. Instead, we had 5 persons with no police experience and few ties to the village as the go-between for the author of the review and our elected officials. This task force brief has since been proven to be misleading and slanted. Also, there are some inaccuracies in the Hartnett report. Had our chief been interviewed, he could have been given documentation and statistics to clear them up. I ask why. Why is the village spending taxpayer money just to have a false narrative fed to the other trustees and the public? And why was our accreditation never mentioned? Why doesn't the public know about a process we complete every 5 years with a thorough review of the New York State Department of Criminal Justice Services since 1993? And how can we maintain that accreditation if we are such a mismanaged and unsupervised department? A headline read, Southampton Village Police has excessive expenses and few controls. Let me remind the public, our budget and oversight starts with Village Hall. Our mayor is our police commissioner. Village Hall adopts and approves our budget for the department along with all the line items specified. On May 25th, the mayor actually revealed to us that the police department had gone under many line items, actually saving the village money. He mentioned now with this zero-based budgeting software, he can allocate unused police budget money and transfer it to a capital fund. So, Mr. Mayor, how if the department has actually gone under line items, do we have excessive expenses and few controls? The mayor has blamed the department and dispatch center for egregious overtime. I will remind everyone that most, if not all, of the police overtime in 2020 came from Village Hall approved protest rallies and dining in the streets. All events that required most, if not all, the department to be at work to maintain safety to allow these events to happen peacefully. The mayor touted that the reports show a lack of diversity. Our police department is made of 31 officers and the chief. We have 5 females, 2 who hold rank, 3 members of color. We have 2 that represent the LGBT community. We have a Hispanic code enforcement officer, and approximately 14 officers were born and raised in this community. We have employed part-time officers from the Shinnecock Reservation and from the Hispanic community. Again, it is Village Hall that hires. I will let dispatch explain why it took so long to get proper staffing for them. But when Mayor Warren explained to us on May 25th that only white men were on the list, we were appalled. There is a civil service process, but regardless, to discriminate on gender and race is something I would call for resignation. I am not here today to promote anyone's political agenda. I am here to ask that you stop using the police department, our chief, and our members as a scapegoat of blame to promote your personal political agenda. This village has never seen this type of vitriol before, and quite frankly, it's sad. We have a wonderful village and community. We are made up of hardworking, family-oriented, and environmentally conscious people. I will finish with this. Our department and our PBA have and will continue to be dedicated to this community. We will continue to build our relationships. We will continue to reflect on ways to improve and be better, and we will do this regardless of who is mayor, because that is what we do. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any additional public comment?
I should probably go again,
Okay.
just so I know we have people watching.
You may have been on. I was hard to tell. I checked the YouTube, but whatever. It's good to do it again anyway. Reinforcement is good.
Okay, I'd like to thank you again for this opportunity to speak. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to thank you again for acknowledging that the task force report was not fair to us. We appreciate that, genuinely. But I have to admit that I was a bit disheartened by the report, because at the time we thought that was the report. We went from basically being essential to not operationally or economically justified. I was relieved to know that that wasn't the report. But in the interim, before the HeartNet group was able to address some of his concerns, we've had multiple members break down in the radio room, distraught, thinking that they were going to lose their jobs. So it's clear that the public doesn't really know what we do, which is why I would like to address some of those things now. We are the 911, the 411, and the 311. Soon we will be able to work with C-Click Fix. We dispatch the Village Police Department, Village Ambulance, Southampton Fire Department in the village and also outside of the village. We dispatch the North Sea Fire Department, Bridgehampton Fire Department, and ambulance. So for their agencies, they believe that we are the superior agency in that. We deliver emergency medical dispatch instructions to the public in case of a medical emergency, while simultaneously dispatching help to the scene. Our call volume has risen 10 to 20% across the board, with the exception of the SVVA, the Village Ambulance, which has went down, which is a good thing. But after COVID, the reality is we are the busiest we've ever been, at least in my recollection of my 10 years of service with the village. We are a talented group. The majority of us are college educated, and with that we bring the ability to think critically and under pressure. We enjoy serving the public, and we are honored to do so. With the Chief's permission, I would encourage any trustee or board member to come take a tour of our facility, and I believe that you'd be surprised with who's behind the phone. The only thing that we would like to hear from the board or in general is that we will continue to be a part of this village, and that we will continue to serve all the residents. But again, I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Is there any additional public comment? If not, we can move to the Employee of the Month portion. of our agenda. And our employee of the month is Julie Kudrop. She is an accountant trainee, but she's certainly done a lot more than that. And we wanted to recognize Julie tonight. She has done a phenomenal job. She helped us put together our most recent fiscal year budget, and we were very fortunate for her to come over from the town of East Hampton, where she worked under our administrator, treasurer, and clerk, Charlene Cagle-Betts. We have had to apologize to Peter Van Scoik numerous times for hiring both because they were so good, and of course, no one ever wants to lose good employees, but we are blessed to have Julie here. She's incredibly dedicated, she's incredibly hardworking, and while she's not working on our new budgetary management software, Questica, she also spends time filling in to help with beach passes, but she is so much more than her title it really suggests. She is the heart of our treasury department, along with Charlene and Pat Letterman, and she's invaluable to our team. So we just wanted to recognize her as our employee of the month. I'm not sure, Charlene, if you wanted to say a couple words about Julie. Sorry to put you on the spot, but
That's okay. I know Julie hasn't been here that long, but in the time she's been here, she's just been an amazing help, and I think everybody in the office is very relieved to have her here. She'll do whatever it needs to be done. You'll see her outside posting in the board, on the bulletin board. She'll come out and make photocopies and scan, or help with foils. Never complains, smile on her face all the time. So she's a great addition to the staff. So
She is. She's a real team player. Julie's a team player.
thank you. Okay, we'll move forward. There are no board presentations tonight, though we do have 3 public hearings. So I'd like to make a motion to open our first public hearing, and that is to amend the Village Code, Chapter 110, Section 110-43, Schedule H, speed regulations, more specifically impose a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit on Halsey, Pelham, and Prospect Streets and Somerset Avenue. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So I'll let our village attorney, Ken Gray, just introduce this, and then we can open this up to both public comment and comments from the board.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to let you know that when the original request to hold this public hearing came to me, I had drafted the proposed local law and the notice of public hearing for only Halsey Street, because that was the only street. And then subsequent to that, other streets were added to it. So the public notice that went out only has Halsey Street noticed. So my understanding is we're going to hold the public hearing, but it's going to be continued to another day, and Charlene's office will then republish to include the other 3 streets that were added along the way. So we apologize for that. We had tried to retrieve the publication and substitute in the correct one before they went to publication, but we missed a deadline on that, so I do apologize. So again, it's very straightforward. This is a request by the mayor and the board to change the speed limit in a number of streets that they have received complaints from residents, and that's to reduce it from 30 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour. The village, you can do that by local law. In the village code book, in the back of the code book, they have a list of all the streets that have anything different than 30 miles an hour as the speed limit, and this is the process to go through. I know I had spoken with Gary Gillespie about this, and the other 2 local laws that are on, I think, well, one of them, speaking of stop signs through the area. So apparently there's a concern with the increasing population in the area, and there's concerns on some of these residential streets. Gary had suggested that we not do this ad hoc, that we, the village, have some sort of a traffic study to come up with some recommendations, because what you don't want is, the unintended consequences. You change the speed limit on one street but not another street. How does that impact other streets? So with that said, I think it's pretty self-explanatory as to what the local law is. So I don't know if anybody has any questions or not.
Just recommend closing and reopening or adjourning it to the June 22nd meeting?
I'm going to recommend that you adjourn it and reopen it on the next date.
Okay.
And then the publication will be taken care of.
All right. Thank you, Ken.
Ken, can I just, again, as I stated, I believe at the last meeting, when we do a traffic study and it is completed and there are changes that the traffic study suggests that might be different than what is in the public hearing for number 1 and the public hearing for number 3, we are going to have to renotice a change to the local law. We are going to have to go through all of the steps again and do all of that, correct?
Correct.
So, I mean, might it be in the best interest to kind of let this go for a little bit until we have that traffic study done, in the hopes that we get that information and then the board can make an informed decision rather than as you suggested with Gary, that it's ad hoc if it is, or it's piecemeal because I mean, the first one was just Halsey Street, now we're Halsey, Pelham, Prospect, and Somerset. We've got one stop sign, there might be more stop signs that these people do. Which would you suggest that would be a least amount of taxing time for the public, the board, and our workers?
Well, I think you can proceed either way. I think the reason why it's going forward now, prior to the study, is the mayor wanted to get the information from the public to see if they have interest or not. And there might be other streets and other residents that are, they hear this public hearing and they say, oh, I didn't even know that was an ask that I could have. So I think this was more informational from the mayor's point of view.
Okay. But if any changes come up, we still then have to renotice everything out.
Renotice, republish.
Repost.
Correct.
And all of that. Okay.
That is correct.
All right.
Thank you, Trustee Polaro. Are there any other comments from the board? If not, we'll just make a motion to adjourn to June 22nd. All right, seeing no comments, I'd like to make that motion to adjourn this public hearing to June 22nd.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Our next public hearing is public hearing number 2. I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 2 to amend the Village Code, Chapter 110, Section 110-43, Chapter 3 to add a new Article 5, Terms of Office for Village Mayor and Village Trustee, more specifically limiting the holding of office to 8 consecutive years. Is there a motion? I'm sorry, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to open this up to public comment. I know there's not too many people here tonight. Could make sense to keep this open because we want to get as much public comment in as possible. Councilor Gray, if you wanted to just explain to the public what this is.
Sure.
And how it will change our code.
I apologize. I don't have it in front of me.
Thank you, Miranda. As Ken is looking for material, all this will do is, we noticed that the Village of Southampton doesn't have term limits, and the town of Southampton has term limits. So we thought it might be a good idea to discuss putting that into our village code. No one should be the mayor or trustee forever, and it might make sense to adopt term limits that are similar to other municipalities. So this is open for public comment. We hope to keep it open to get public input, and it will be a good discussion that our board can have with our residents.
Yes, so as you said, Mayor, again, it's fairly straightforward. It's to impose term limits for a maximum of 8 consecutive years on the mayor and trustees position. As drafted, it does not include the village justice position, elected position. And it's, the way I crafted it is it's going forward prospectively. So if somebody has already served 2 years as a trustee on the village board, that doesn't mean that you only have 6 years left, because it can only be prospectively. So going forward, you can only serve 8 more years. So.
Thank you. Any comment from the board?
Maybe have a public hearing about it and see how everybody feels, yeah.
See what they say.
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to June 22nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So our third public hearing tonight by the way, these are the fastest our public hearings have ever gone, is number 3, and I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 3 to amend the Village Code, Chapter 110, Section 110-37, Schedule F, stop intersections, more specifically to install stop signs on Meeting House Lane at the intersection of Pine Street, eastbound and westbound. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So Ken, I'll guess I'll defer to you, similar fashion. Again, Trustee Polari made the great point of having a village-wide traffic study, which we're looking forward to. I think will be excellent. It will definitely help our residents, especially with the influx of people coming and going, and also some of our new year-round residents. But you just wanted to provide any additional input to the public, but we'll end up adjourning this likely as well.
So again, similar to the speed limit local law that was just discussed, Gary Gillespie, again, in that same conversation, expressed concern about doing things ad hoc. And again, especially with stop signs, you could have unintended consequences where you're actually disrupting the flow of traffic. And that needs to be looked at. My understanding is that those stop signs that are being requested now were actually removed at one point because it's by a school, I understand, and it was causing some problems with drop-off and pickup of children. So again, that's something that should be part of the study, and that's about it.
All right. Thank you. So in a similar fashion, I'd just like to make a motion to adjourn to June 22nd. All in favor?
Aye.
And public comment, or, well, I mean, people can still write in if they want on this before that. So there is a chance for the public to write in emails and all of that to us to let us know your ideas, and it doesn't just mean that you have to come on the 22nd.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Polaro. Charlene, we'll let you to move forward with the suggested resolutions. So we'll turn this over to you. And thank you very much.
Resolution number 1, resolved that the claims for the warrant dated June 10th, 2021, totaling $1,748,799.31, warrant A2 and A3 general fund, $106,738 warrant H1 capital fund, and $216.68 warrant T2 trust fund, be audited and approved. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 2, resolved that the reading of the minutes for the public session dated May 25th, 2021 be dispensed with, and those minutes be accepted as filed with the village administrator, and the actions taken at that meeting be and hereby are ratified and approved. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 3, that the Board of Trustees approves the renewal of the 2021 surf school permits for OC Surf School at Halsey Neck Beach and Southampton Surf Club at Crider Beach. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Quick discussion.
Discussion, Trustee Polaro.
Last year, there were 3. Does anyone recall there were 3? I'm just wondering, are there other schools that are out there that may try and come?
There may be, yes.
There may be other schools that, okay, so I just wanted to...
At this point, we've only received
the 2.
the application from the 2 with the checks for the application renewal. I've discussed with both of them. They did submit a complete application. That's all we've heard from so far.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure, because I'm pretty sure last year we had at least 3.
We did.
And I know there was one school that may have tried to circumvent the application process. All right, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 4, resolved that the Board of Trustees support the Town of Southampton Trustee Wildlife Preservation Piping Clover Program with a financial contribution to the program of $9,856 to be paid from Trustee Special Projects A 1010.433. We have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Well, just want to quickly thank Trustee Polaro. We had called together with the town trustees.
Trustee Parrish.
Parish.
First public meeting back. Trustee Parrish. And we had a good call with the trustees. We want to thank Ann Welker as well. And, we hope to have continue to build on our positive relationship with the with the town trustees. They're an important partner for us, and again, just wanted to thank you and also thank the town. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 5, that the Board of Trustees appoint David V. Alberici to the position of building inspector at a salary of $60,000 effective June 7th, 2021. Motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the village administrator to advertise and request proposals for independent audit CPA firm for the fiscal year end May 31st, 2021 financial statements with an option to extend for an additional 2 years. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Just as a note to discuss, it is that a recommended practice that every 3 to 5 years we rotate out and do an RFP. So we've come to that point with SADI. So they, of course, will be offered the opportunity to submit a proposal, but at this point it is time for us to go out to an RFP, and it's been prepared and ready to post. So all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 7, resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the following beach special event applications in excess of 100 attendees as follows. July 15th, 2021, 150 attendees at Gin Lane Beach from 7 to 11 p.m., applicant Christy McGowan, and August 7th, 2021, 150 attendees Gin Lane Beach from 7 to 11 p.m., Catherine McGinty and the Southampton Animal Foundation. We have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 8, resolved that the Board of Trustees approves SYA to use the village basketball courts for the summer program from July 13th to August 5th, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m.
Motion.
Motion.
There, second.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes Rue Environmental Engineering to conduct a dredging study for Old Town Pond at a cost not to exceed $14,900 to be paid from Trustees Special Projects A 1010-433, and be it further resolved that the authorizes the mayor to sign the agreement with Rue Environmental for said services. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Sure. Oh, sorry, I was going to quick discussion, which I just wanted to let everyone know. This is, as it says, a dredging study for Old Town Pond. We're doing it with the Rue engineers, and this is the first step in a process to also try to remediate Old Town. They're going to basically sample the sediments to determine what's down there and how to dredge. And this is a great project and fits with many of our environmental initiatives. And also just say that it's one of the first times we've actually ever used in full the last fiscal year, the trustee special projects line item, which means we are doing things. So that's a very good thing when we are focusing on those board special projects. So very excited about this, and just wanted to put that out there. So thank you.
Have we notified the town trustees for this study?
I don't know. We might want to check with Gary on that. He typically is the one who reaches out, but we can, regardless, we can remind them again. But it's a great point, Trustee McLaughlin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolved that the Board of Trustees authorize the village administrator to notice public hearing on July 8th at 6 p.m. The Board of Trustees for the Village of Southampton, Suffolk County, New York, pursuant to Chapter 116, Section 116-37 of the Code of the Village of Southampton, shall consider the proposal to amend the Village Code, Chapter 116-37, building permits, certificates, or occupancy fees enforcement. More specifically, proposed modification to the code is intended to require a review of any proposed demolition of any structure 70 years or older. The procedure will require a referral to the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 11, whereas the Fire Department Chief Alfred Callahan requested a salary increase for Dennis Chupi in the amount of $5,000 during the department budget meeting, which was provided for in the 2021-22 budget. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the 2021-2022 salary for Dennis Chupi in the amount of $72,000 effective June 1st, 2021. I would like to request a modification, a motion to modify after we have to change the amount. So can I have a motion on the resolution?
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No,
Oh,
no, no,
sorry,
no,
sorry.
no. Do not vote on that.
Don't vote. No, all right, we're retracting the vote. We'll make a motion on the modification to change the amount from $72,000 to $72,962.29. Can we have a motion on the modified?
Motion on the modified.
And second?
Second.
All in favor on the resolution as amended?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 12, whereas pursuant to the contract with Lake Agawam Conservancy for the peroxide treatment of Lake Agawam, the first treatment has been completed and has been successful, and at the recommendation of Dr. Christopher Gobler, the village should proceed with the second treatment, the cost of which is now included in the current contract to be paid by the village. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approves the payment of $89,708 to Solitude Lake Management for the second peroxide treatment of Lake Agawam.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 13, resolved that at the request of Matthew Weeks, Cooper's Beach manager, an adjustment to the rate of pay for Michelle Credo should be $19.50 per hour based on the years of service as a lifeguard. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution number 14, resolved that at the request of the senior building inspector, the Board of Trustees approves the release of a performance bond postage for light storage, 3 William Place, Southampton, for site plan work completed in the amount of $15,000. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, thank you, Charlene. So this was a nice, quick start to our in-person board meetings, one of our more more efficient ones. And now we go to the final portion of our board meetings, which is comment from board members, and it's in an alphabetical order. So Deputy Mayor, Trustee Resta, you can begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I'd like to let everyone know that one of the bathrooms at Dune Beach has been completed. It looks beautiful with all new tile work in it. They're working on the second bathroom down there. They haven't been renovated, I believe, in about over 25 years. And after that, once the bathroom is finished, the deck work out in front, there's some corroded boards along the deck that goes to the beach at Dune Beach. They will be replaced. So that's still a work in progress, but the DPW is making great progress there, and it looks great. The World War I Memorial in Agawam Park, people have noticed, well, you can't help but notice there's a fence around it. It's deteriorating. There's a problem structurally with the monument, and we're waiting for some estimates to come in because it's a big problem with the roof. So we have to put that out to bid. But more to come on that. We are working on it. That fence is not going to be there forever, but it does have some problems there. We're waiting for PSEG to install the electric for the charging stations. So hopefully we are on that list, and hopefully we will have the charging stations installed by July 4th. We're hoping. Right now we're just waiting for the electric. National Grid is beginning work on West Prospect and Prospect Street. They're getting ready to put new mains in there, but in the meantime, they're going to be along those roadways and drilling holes to do certain testing before they actually replace the main, which comes after they do the testing. So just Be careful when you're going down Prospect Street. I guess that's going to slow the traffic down there a little bit, going down Prospect as well. So that's just something else. After that work is done, then all of Prospect is going to be repaved. But that's going to be a little ways down the line, because this work from National Grid has to be done first. And the flower boxes look beautiful on Main Street. They've really done, DPW has done a great job this spring, sprucing the village up, and big thank you to all of them.
Thank you, Trustee Resta.
You're welcome.
Good work. Okay, Trustee McLaughlin.
Thank you. It's great to be in person. Finally, after 9 months in office, it's great to finally all of us be in the same room. And to hear from the public in person is also great. Also, I wanted to, of course, welcome Dave Albarisi, our new building inspector, who is, I met him this week. He seems to be very capable, and I look forward to working with him in his future. I also wanted to mention a few things. I know the town just is looking at the approval of the changes of zone behind the Full Gospel Church. I know that that's the point of contention for us, especially if they're going to develop and they want to put a road to the Hillcrest. So I want to just notify the board that, I did hear about this, so I want to make sure that we can have a conversation with the town and make sure that we can have hopefully wherever it goes there can be, not have much density and also have, be in keeping with the community. I do have a copy of the resolution to put into the, for the record. And also, I did hear from a few residents with COVID, with older people, PSE&G has been automatically re-upping people's payments. So just for people to be careful of their PSE&G bills this spring with COVID, they do the automatic payment. So just for people to be aware of that going forward. And overall it was a pretty safe weekend, and I just, again, it's good to have the village all packed and people, and it's good to see. So that's all I have today.
Thank you, Trustee McLaughlin. Trustee Parrish.
Good evening, and it's nice to be back here in Village Hall in person, looking at people. We could have probably about 10 people in here tonight, and it's just a good thing to get the energy back. Zoom was great, but it got past this point where being back gives you a sense of purpose again. So I wanted to say I'm glad we're all here, and to all the board members for the first time, welcome. It's a lot nicer in here than it is on a computer, that's for sure. Welcome to David. Glad he's here. A very valuable person to one of our more valuable departments. So it's good to have him and get the building department really on tip-top shape where they can go out and really do the things that they're good at. Justice is being served in the courts, so I do know that. I just looked over some things that were being done, and so we do have the court officers, and we have the judges doing their jobs. I'm happy to hear about that. It's going to be getting busier now with a lot more people, tickets, traffic, things like that. And next Saturday, June 19th, is Juneteenth. It's a celebration that started last year by Nisi of our village, and she is going to be doing the second annual, and we're excited to have her leading that. Last year was a great job, and this year she said it's going to be unbelievable. And I do believe, correct me if I'm wrong, any board member, that SAM, the South Hampton African American Museum, is also holding something on that day.
Friday.
It's on Friday. I apologize. So it's on Friday, the grand opening of theirs, which has been a work in progress. It looks beautiful. And for me as a kid, remembering going by there and seeing Randy and Randy's Barbershop, I'm really happy that it's taking its path and it's getting down to its roots. So that is it, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Parrish. Trustee Pallaro.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to everyone coming out tonight, and also to those people watching on YouTube. Really appreciate it. It is wonderful to be back in person and in Village Hall. I too would like to welcome David. It's wonderful to finally have him on board after, I think we interviewed him a little over a year ago, so it's great that we have it here. And look forward to seeing him in Village Hall. Nice to see the chief in the back there, and looking forward to our next meeting as well, where hopefully he will be coming to us and speaking to us on some of the things that we heard tonight in public comment. So looking forward to welcoming him at our next meeting and hearing some of the things he has to say. And also, I guess just lastly, because Trustee Parrish didn't do it tonight, so I will steal his thunder. Happy birthday, Catherine. Happy 17th.
All right.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Happy birthday, sweetheart.
All right, that was a good one. Thanks for doing that. All right. I will make
That's why I want to get out of here early.
All right, we'll try to do that. We've got a quick executive session, and I don't know, Trustee Parrish, do you think she's watching tonight, or?
No, but I'm sure she's going to hear about this or
Okay.
something.
I'm sure she will.
Yeah, and so I've got enough grief from her today, so.
Better Andrew than you.
Yes.
All right, very good. I'll make it brief. We had a great meeting today with Mr. Grisnick, Lieutenant Hertow, Chief Cummings regarding our July 4th parade. Wanted to thank everybody. Again, Lieutenant Hertow wanted to thank her, Chief Cummings. A big thank you to Mr. Grisnick, as well as Gary Gillespie, head of our DPW department, for making what seemed like it might not happen a reality. So we're all very excited about having the July 4th parade. I know there was an announcement in the paper today as well. So we're all looking forward to this. We've got a great lineup, but really we owe a tremendous amount of thanks to everybody involved, and in particular Mr. Grisnick, who knows, just has memorized the entire order. He's got the bands lined up, the contracts in place. Really, really looking forward. It's going to be great for the village. It's great to be back, and we're all very excited about it. And then just to wrap things up, there was a Resolution 11. We, at the recommendation of our fire chief, we gave a raise to Dennis, and just wanted to thank him for his hard work. It's a well-deserved raise, and it's always nice to see raises to our employees on our agenda. And then Resolution 13 was another raise for Michelle over at Cooper's Beach. So excellent to see our employees getting the raises that they deserve. With that being said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session for the purpose of discussing contractual litigation and specific village personnel matters, and specifically the purpose of discussion of draft lease. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are now back in public session. The time is 7:41 p.m. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Oh, and no, sorry, before that, no action was taken in executive session. Thank you for that, guys. So with that said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I think.
All in favor?
Aye.